That's bad.
All right, just had a car dropped off to work on. It's going to be a full build. Not really a full build. That doesn't feel right because it's drivetrain, wired up, a little bit of plumbing, fuel system, coolant system, and that's kind of it. We're not doing like any crazy chassis work, any body work, anything like that. Like the Chevelle, I'd say is a full build. 55, full build. Skylark was a full build. This thing, a heavy swap is what we'll call it. Anyway, got the engine and trans here. Now, I'm assuming I already spoiled it in the thumbnail. If I didn't, some of you might recognize these and know exactly what's happening. So, we got LS here, 60-degree bell housing pattern. Ooh, wonder what that could be. We got a 4T60E that was freshly rebuilt. So, both of these freshly rebuilt. I don't remember what cam he said was in this, but they were both completely gone through. The transmission just a couple months ago. Engine, I don't know how long ago. I am just the labor here, all right? I am just the labor here. Now, the car that was dropped off, I know, a lot of you guys are going to give me some flack about, because you're going to be like, why didn't you finish yours before starting another one? This is customer stuff, right? So, of all the days to do this, too, it was like 40 degrees out yesterday. Everything was thawing, really nice. Everything froze overnight, so my driveway is just a sheet of ice. Dude came from Chicago with like a 35-foot gooseneck trailer. He had to back it up the driveway because there wasn't enough room to turn it around. And this is as far as he made it. There's the car we're working on, which is stuck in the driveway because of ice. But yeah, it is, as you can see, a Fiero GT. Now, I'm going to get everything unloaded real quick, see if I can figure out how to get that in the garage, and then we'll pick things up from there. All right, boy, it is so cold out. You can't really tell, but my stupid little mustache is all frozen, starting to thaw out finally. But we got the car in the garage, and can't really see what I'm doing. So, now we can get a better look at this thing. Man, I don't know how much longer this video is going to last, because it is negative 15 out, and boy, are my arms tired. But here is the project, and I want to reiterate one more time. This is not my car. This is a customer car. This is something that someone else was like, hey, can you do this for me? And I was like, sure, I can do that. I've done like 90% of one, and I learned from mistakes on that one, so I think I can do better this time. But this is a Fiero GT, arguably the better of the two versions. Mine is the notchback, and it is sitting out back. But this is an automatic 2.8 V6 car, and we got a bunch of parts in there. Looks like alternator, starter, flex plate. I believe there's an alternator bracket in there. Exhaust manifolds are in the back, along with like a crossover. So, should be pretty simple there, hopefully. Interior's pretty good. Definitely not the worst I've seen. Tear on the driver's seat, that's about it. This thing has no rear brakes, so getting it in here on that icy driveway was such a pain in the butt. Actually had to push it in with the Envoy. The car runs and drives as it is. There's no rear brakes, but he just wants it a little bit quicker, have that V8 rumble. So this is a Gen 4 LS4. It has, I think he said a Z06 cam. He picked it up used. He had the transmission rebuilt out of a donor car. Oh, the converter was in there on the floor too. It's, I want to say a monster converter, something like that, like a 2700 stall. So should be happy with that cam. Like a pretty mild cam. Should be a pretty fun car. We're not doing anything crazy. We're going to try and keep as much of it intact as we can. We'll reuse a decent chunk. Well, I'm not sure. We might put a Holly dash in it because we're going to run this on Terminator X, so we might put a Holly dash in it and say forget all the stock gauges and just run that. It shows us all of our data. This is going to be in the background. I don't know how many videos I'm actually going to do on it. I'll probably do some here and there, but it has been so cold out the last few days that I didn't feel like working on this thing. So I figured I'd use that as an excuse to just do another talking video, because those are always easy. I don't even know how many miles this thing has. It has, where are you at? 123,000. Nice. Yeah, so my Fiero out back has like 230,000, I think. 200 and some thousand. But yeah, I always told myself if we were gonna get another one to do, like swap all the parts over, it's gonna be a GT. Preferably an 88 GT, because those have the good suspension and everything. But we're not trying to get... We're just building cars for fun around here. We're not trying to build any world beaters, you know. So I've got to get to work on this thing at some point, probably in a few days once it warms up. You know, it gets above 0 would be nice. Whew, I still cannot really feel these fingers. It is exciting. Love living in the north. It's great. So sorry to anybody that was expecting us to actually get to work on this thing today. I mean, you missed an adventure getting it in here, because like I said, that driveway is a sheet of ice. And that last clip from the beginning was 2 days ago. It hasn't gotten any better. Some say it's gotten even worse. Anyway, our plan of action for this, just to go over it, ideally get it over on the hoist. But a lot of it we can do right here while I'm finishing up the back half of that. I just need to get like the brackets for the ladder bars and stuff welded, and then that thing's a roller again. Anyway, our plan of action for this, we obviously have to disconnect the cooling system, all the wiring, the fuel lines, and the exhaust, and brake lines. Because what we want to do is drop the entire cradle out of this thing, which we can do on the floor. People have done it, and we may end up doing that. It's not the end of the world. You can lift the back up with an engine hoist and get it up high enough to roll everything out from under it. Seen that done. But I do have a engine cradle that I can lower the car onto and then lift the car off of it and roll it out from under. So it'd be nice to put that thing to use again. And then once we've got that out, pull the engine trans off of it. Axles we can set off to the side because you might need like the outer CV joints and stuff. We're going to reuse the suspension, reuse the brakes, just need to bleed them or put new calipers on it or whatever so that those work. And then I've got to get flex plate converter on the motor and the trans, all that mated together. And then we can set that in the cradle, and I need to make motor mounts for that. Motor mounts and trans mount. And once we get all that mounted, ideally I would like to use the stock LS4 water pump. That's one thing I don't necessarily like about my car, my wife's car, is the external electric water pump. It's cool. It's probably reliable as hell. It's just an extra thing. It's nice to just have a belt spinning a pulley. Car's on, you know it's working. So that's what I'd like to do for this. If he doesn't have one, which there's not one in the car. I think he has one on his donor car. If he decides he doesn't want to go with that, then we'll put like a Mizzier or whatever the other ones are that I can't think of right now because it's so cold and my brain's not working. We'll put one of those on it. Not a big deal. And like a water manifold on the front of it. We're running stock LS4 intake. Nothing special crazy there. Yeah, this is going to be a fairly basic build. The hardest part is going to be getting it all stripped down because these are, to me, kind of a pain in the butt to work on. Once we get it all stripped down and I get the motor mounts built, we can get that sat back up in the car. Everything else is like a normal LS swap. The fuel tanks are a little bit of a pain in the butt to get to also, but it's nothing outrageous. Just the way that the lines go through part of like the rear firewall is annoying. That I'm absolutely going to want the hoist for. And I might actually, because his shop is insulated and heated, I might take this over to my dad's to do like the main stripping of everything and getting that put on the cradle, which, I mean, I could do that here and then take it back over there and put it back together. And then once we get the car back over here, it's just like the final touches for the most part. And then hook up the lines, hook up the cooling system, run the exhaust, which, like I said, he's got the stock LS4 manifolds with the crossover that goes over the, almost called it a transfer case, over the transaxle. And then I don't know if we're going to try to tie that into the stock exhaust system, which could be rad, or make something of our own, or what's up. And then wire up the Holly, shift cable, throttle cable, things like that, and we're good to go. So I still can't feel my fingers over here, and my toes are getting pretty numb. So I'm going to go inside. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'll do some updates on this. It's not going to be like a real video-heavy build unless I run out of other things to do and film. I don't know. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell to get notifications. I'll see you next time.